today's video, I'm going to be doing this full cut crease golden vibe. I don't really know how this happened. I saw McDrew, I think is her name, on Instagram do a reel with kind of a cut crease like this, and I've never done one, and I was like, hey, let's give it a shot. So I used my own colors and everything, but that was like my inspiration. So if you want to see how I got this look, then please just keep watching. You guys, so I primed my eyes off camera using the Kylie concealer in the shade Stone, and now I'm gonna kind of dabble between a few different palettes. I'm gonna start off with the My Sandwich shade from the Ross palette, the Friends X Makeup Revolution collaboration, and I'm just gonna work this kind of sloppily into the crease and the outer corner. And then I'm going to go into the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe Volume 2 palette, and I'm going to pick up the shade Perfectionist, and I'm going to work this into that same area in the crease and the outer corner. And then I'm going to pick up Comfort Zone from that same Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, and once again just kind of building that up into the crease and in the outer corner. I intend on doing a full cut crease, my first ever full cut crease, and so I'm really just kind of blowing this out up top. It doesn't really matter how messy it gets down here, like on the eyelid, because I'm going to be cutting it with concealer, so that'll kind of clean all that up. And I'm just going back in with a brush with no additional product on it and making sure that everything's seamless. Now I'm going to go back into that Ross palette, and I'm going to pick up the shade Break, and once again just keep going in the outer corner and then all the way in the crease, all the way into the inner corner. Now, very lightly, I'm going to pick up the shade Juice Box from the Ross palette, and I'm going to start to kind of create that shape and just go very slowly. I am going to go in once I actually cut my crease and define it with a very tiny little brush, but I want to just kind of have some of this color down to start with so I can start blending it out. That way it's not too harsh. I know I want a cut crease, which is by definition harsh, but I also want it to be beautiful and blended all at the same time. So, very lightly, just running this right here into the crease. And now I'm going to go in with that original brush and blend it out. And then I'm going to go in just one more time with that Juice Box shade. I like to do this in layers with any eyeshadow look that I'm doing. I don't ever like to build up too much too fast. I would rather go back in 25 times and continuously build it up. I know I've said that before in at least one previous video, if not more than one, but if you're new here, that's kind of my philosophy on doing things, because it is way harder to clean up a mess that you've made rather than going in just little bit by little bit until you get it the way you want. And now I'm going to go back in with that Kylie concealer in the shade Stone and this little tiny flat brush and carve out my crease very carefully, just going in and patting it along the lash line and then kind of looking up to create the line where I'm going to cut my crease. I actually kind of like to take it up a little bit higher. You can see where I blended that darker shade right here in the inner corner. So I'm kind of going to do like a cross mix between following where my natural cut crease would go and also where I kind of created that extra space. The biggest piece of advice that I can give when doing this is go slow and kind of let the brush do the work for you. And then with another flat brush, I'm going to pick up the shade Fossil from the Ross palette, and I'm going to pat that onto where I put that concealer. Okay, update. I'm actually going to apply that mostly with my finger, and then whenever I get up to where that line is, where I need to be careful, I'm going to go under the brush, but this just definitely packs on better with a finger, apparently. And now I'm going to dip into a different palette. I'm going to use the Coin shade from the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe Armed and Gorgeous palette. And I'm very, very lightly just going to kind of tap this onto that Fossil shade. Fossil ended up being a beautiful color, which I thought it would, but there's a lot of fallout. Like, it swatched so smoothly and it just kind of crumbled everywhere. I tried using a setting spray and it just was not having the best time. So I don't know what really happened with that, but I mean, I made it work, clearly. I'm just going to kind of lightly dust this all over. And then, not to seem too extra, but I'm going to go into the e.l.f. 24 karat gold little glitter eyeshadow, and I'm going to pick that up off of the little applicator onto a brush and then dab that on my eyelid as well. I don't know if I've ever told you guys what brush this is. This is the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH47 brush. I love this because it's such a straight edge and it is so perfect to do little tiny detail work. And now I'm going to go right along the edge of where that golden shade is. Work that pencil brush, make sure that there's no additional darkness on it. I don't want it to be too deep, but I do just want to kind of blend just ever so slightly on the upper part of where I placed that line. I'm going to kind of come in from above and just kind of wiggle that back and forth. gonna do the other eye off camera and do my face makeup, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I did my brows and my other eye and my face makeup off camera. Now I'm going in with that My Sandwich shade and running this along my lower lash line. And then I'm gonna pick up the shade Break and tap off a whole lot of the excess. I just want it to be a very faint kind of amount on there. And I'm gonna use that to blend out down here just a little bit. Now I'm gonna take the little itty bitty brush that I used to line around the gold and just line this all the way from outer to inner corner, making sure to connect it with where it meets there at the wing. I'm just kind of stamping this and wiggling it around. Then I'm going to take this kind of dense flat brush and smudge that out just a little bit. And now I'm going to do the same thing to this eye and pop on some mascara and finish my lip, and I'll be back for the finished look. Alright you guys, and this is the finished look. I actually would pop on lashes, but my kids need me to go inside. So, if you like this video, please consider subscribing, and if you have any other video ideas, comment them down below, and I will do my very best to get them filmed for you guys. And until next time, bye guys.